Welcome back to Movie Bites. Today, I am going to explain an American action movie titled The Lone Ranger. The movie starts in San Francisco in 1933 when a kid wearing a mask enters the museum to watch the extinct things. One of them is Tonto, the noble savage of the American Indians. While the kid was looking at Tonto, Tonto moves and says, "Did you bring the horses?" The kid replies and asks, "Who did you think I was?" Tonto starts telling his story that happened a long time ago, when he and John, who wore a mask, similar to that of the kids, were attacking a village and breaking into a bank to rob it. The kid says that he knows, the Lone Ranger and Tonto were not bad guys. They didn't rob banks. Tonto replies, "At that time, a good man had to wear a mask." Then he took him back to the year 1869, in Texas. When the man, Mr. Cole, spoke to the people about the Railing Road line, and that it's one of the greatest civilized enterprises. He told the Comanche tribes to not be afraid of anything, and to appreciate and live with the people without fear. To achieve justice, he said, he is going to execute the American Indians' killer, Butch Cavendish, here in front of everyone. Captain Dan and the guys are waiting for the train to arrive, to bring Butch. On this train, we see John, who is Dan's little brother, and came back to Texas to practice law as a public prosecutor. Later on, a guard comes in to tell Butch he will be handed to the men who will send him to his execution. Butch looks at the guard with mockery. Next to him, we see an arrested Tonto, playing with his malfunctioning watch. Not far from the train, there are a group of thieves, waiting to attack the train to free Butch Cavendish. Inside the train, Butch dislocates a certain floorboard and takes out a hidden gun. He then asks the guards to use the bathroom. Butch kills the guards. John notices someone above the train and starts tracking him. Butch's guys get on the train and start threatening everyone. They slaughter the driver and put the train at top speed. While Butch tries to kill Tonto, John comes in and Butch directs the gun toward him. Tonto picks up another gun and directs it toward Butch, showing him his malfunctioning watch. He says he has been waiting for this moment for years, to avenge the Comanches he has killed. John drops off the gun from Tonto's hand and says that he is going to hand the outlaw to the fair prosecution. Suddenly Butch's guys appear behind John, giving Butch the advantage. He ties John and Tonto, then escape with his men. The train misses the station, so Dan and his rangers quickly follow the train. Tonto was able to break the wood he was tied to but can't move alone, because of the chain that was tied to John. He takes John and climbs the train, to unhook the trailers, to save the passengers. One of the thieves appears and threatens them. At that moment, Captain Dan arrives on his horse and pulls the thief to the ground. They quickly move to separate the main trailer, while John and Tonto were standing on it. The train then crashes and tosses them away. Near one of the train wreckage, John follows Tonto, to take him back to custody until his trial, but Tonto ignores him and continues walking. Captain Dan stops them and hands John the cuffs and takes Tonto back to jail. John gets home to see Rebecca and Danny, his brother's wife and son, whom he didn't see for 9 years. Danny sees Tonto inside the jail, talking strangely. Mr. Cole shows up and meets John, and tells Captain Dan to catch Butch by any means. Dan tells him he will take Collins, the scout who would lead him to find Butch. Dan says goodbye to his family, then gives John his father's badge, and deputize him as one of the Texas Rangers. Later, when they see a white horse standing on the mountain, he tells John that the American Indians sanctify this horse, and call it the Immortal Soul. Later, they arrive at the passage between mountains. Dan requests Collins to go and scout that passage, and assure the safety of the road. Meanwhile, Collins shows far away and points out that the road is safe. When they enter the canyon, Dan asks, "Where is Collins?" and then realizes that they walked into a trap. The shooting starts on Dan's men, from everywhere from the mountains. Dan tries to escape, but when he sees his brother fall to the ground, he quickly comes back to save him, but gets shot in the shoulder. John tries to help his brother, but he gets shot and loses consciousness. Meanwhile, Tonto shows up and digs graves for Dan and his men and takes their valuables before burying them. John wakes up but Tonto knocks him out with a stone, to lose consciousness again. The white horse appears and stands in front of John's grave, for Tonto to save him, but Tonto tells the horse to bring back Dan, because he is a strong warrior. The horse refuses and insists on John. Tonto rides the horse, takes John, and treats him. John wakes up, seeing Tonto talking to the white horse. Tonto tells him, the horse said that John became the walking spirit and that nothing can kill him now. Tonto tells John he must avenge his brother and his men, then gives him a mask and says, Butch thinks he is dead, so it is better to wear this mask. Meanwhile, Butch with his men, undercover with Indian clothes, attacks the village, killing lots of people. When John arrives, he finds the place is totally destroyed. Tonto tells him that it wasn't Comanche's doing. John asks him how to find Rebecca and Danny. Tonto releases one of the horses and says, we will follow the horse and it will lead us. While they are following the horse, it suddenly falls and dies. They start spectating around the horse. Suddenly, John gets shot by an arrow. When he wakes up, he finds himself in the Comanche's tribes. The tribe's chief asks him why he is wearing a mask. John tells her that Tonto advised him to do so. The chief takes out a watch and tells him that Tonto is not one of them anymore. He starts telling a story about Tonto. When he was a kid, he found 2 unconscious men laying on the ground. He brought them to the village to be healed in the village. Those 2 men saw silver on the river, so they asked Tonto about the silver source in exchange for a pocket watch. The kid Tonto showed them where the source was. The 2 men got greedy and killed the whole village, so when they come back, they can take any amount of silver, without anyone preventing them. The kid came back to see the destruction that came upon his village because of his foolishness. He made himself a promise to take his revenge on those 2 men. He then tells John his brother promised them, as long as they keep their peace deal, he will protect their lands. John tells him that his brother Dan is dead and if he let him go, he will keep his promise, but the tribe's chief doesn't believe him. They take them and bury their body on the ground while leaving their heads out. The white horse appears to help them get out of the hole. Tonto tells John that they must go to the river source, and they will surely find Butch. On the river source side, Butch's men are afraid to enter the cave, saying that there is an evil spirit living inside. A moment later, John and Tonto send a mining cart outside, where they start shooting at it. When they try to get near, the cart explodes. Then John takes Butch and asks him about Rebecca and Danny. Butch tells him they died. John gets furious and starts beating him with the gun. Later, he takes Butch to trial and hands him over to Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole invites John to dinner, then confesses that Butch is his brother, and takes out his gun trying to kill John, but he escapes the place. Moving back to the moment when John and Tonto break into the bank, here we realize they did that to take explosives and put them everywhere on the bridge to demolish it. Later, there is a party at the station. Tonto climbs the train, which is loaded with the silver boxes, and threatens the drivers. The train moves and destroys the place where the party is held. The soldiers run behind the train and start firing at Tonto. Mr. Cole and Butch take Rebecca and ride the second train to follow Tonto. John shows up riding the white horse and jumping over the second train. Before the second train reaches the first train, Tonto changes the train track, making the 2 trains speed beside each other. Mr. Cole sees John riding the horse over the train and tells Butch to get rid of him. Butch takes Rebecca above the train in front of John. He asks Butch to let her go. Butch throws her off the train, but she falls on the white horse. John tries to kill him, but the gun is empty, so he beats him. Then he gets down to stop the train, but finds Butch holding his gun and telling him the ride is over, and he must die. The train with silver crashes into the other train. John jumps onto the white horse with Rebecca and leaves Butch inside to die. Mr. Cole was able to escape, with some of the trailers loaded with silver stones, but Tonto shows up above him. Mr. Cole comes up and tries to kill him. John riding the horse shoots Mr. Cole and drops his gun. Tonto picks up the gun and says, all these years he has been waiting for this moment. Mr. Cole asks who he is and Tonto gives him the watch. At that moment, Mr. Cole remembers the Indian kid, whom he gave his watch, to know about the silver source. Tonto unhooks the trailer, leaving Mr. Cole to fall with the train loaded with silver stones, from the destroyed bridge, and to be buried under the train. John quickly reaches Tonto to save him. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. It helps us a lot.